Hello. Hi, everyone. Get in
Hello.
here, get in here, get in here. Hi, I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and I'm excited about tonight's conversation. We're going to be talking about something that I believe is going to help a lot of people. When it's all said and done, our goal is to identify the principle that make life work for us. I'm joined with a lady who is not afraid to share her mind because she's studied, she's lived, and have literally captured certain truths that I believe if we were to embrace those same truths, we can find ourselves living life truly effectively. I want to invite you guys to celebrate with me back here on Effective Living, Dr. Melissa Hall. How are you doing, lady?
Listen, I am really excited about this show. Let me say that first of all, but I'm doing really great. Today was a very productive day, and it's the middle of the week. I normally call these Wednesdays a wealthy Wednesday, and so
Oh,
I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous.
I listen. We've done a talk or two before. I love
Yeah.
your platform, your message, and what you continue to do on a daily basis in regards to the services you are providing to humanity. Go ahead and tell
Yeah.
our viewing audience a little bit about yourself before we dive into our talk.
Sure, that's definitely not a problem. Well, first of all, I want to say spiritually, I am a daughter of the King.
Yeah.
Professionally, I'm an attorney. I practice corporate and commercial law. Passionately, I am a coach certified by John Maxwell, Jack Canfield, and I believe in helping individuals to grow their leadership skills so that they can become impactful and leave a legacy on the earth. More importantly, I am a wife, a mother, and so I wear many hats. But more importantly, above all of that, I should say, I'm so passionate about living a life on purpose. Just really passionate about that.
You have been doing that for a while. Let's
Yeah.
before we dive into our talk and get on subject. Where did that
Mhm.
come? When did that come alive, or where did it come from? Was it always there? Was it there in elementary school? Were you a prefect in primary school? Were you the head girl in junior school? Were you a valedictorian in graduation, or was there a moment where you really sort of realize, you know what, I have the ability to do some amazing things, and I'm going to tap into my potential? When did that?
Well,
When?
here's the thing. I can tell you this. I was not valedictorian. I was not the head girl or the Jeopardy head girl. I was supposed to be the Jeopardy head girl, but they made a mistake and made somebody else that, right? And I was a prefect. I mean, I
Mhm,
was a really well-rounded student. But
mhm,
I could say this to you. I think, from an early age, yes, my ability to interact and speak and just be totally involved in community activity and services was always a part of me. But I believe, Coach Ricardo, the shift really came for me in 2008, which is over a decade, maybe 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, when I experienced, watch this, I had a really heartbreaking experience.
mhm.
And I realized that there was more to me than what people even thought. A lot of times people, especially in our culture and society, get caught up in the titles. And so, yes, I was an attorney, but I said, I'm more than just an attorney.
Yeah.
My life is not just, completing transactions, helping people along the way, which I love doing. No, my life is more about helping to make an impact and helping people to transform their lives, to fulfill potential. And so I had a really crazy experience. It was a church hurt kind of experience,
Okay.
and it took me into a place where the Lord said to me, "Look, now it's time for you to break out of this cocoon or break out of this shell or this circle that people have placed you in whereby you're just an attorney and that's all you should do. Now it's time for you to start impacting the lives of women." And so I launched in 2008 an organization called Kingdom Women in Business,
Yeah.
which was really to help empower women in business at that time. And one of the things I want to say about purpose, Coach Ricardo, is I found throughout the years that purpose evolves. So as
Yeah.
I look at my life, I start off talking about business. Then I'm at the next phase of my life was talking about wealth. And then the next phase of my life now is talking about leadership. And I'm getting ready to evolve into another phase of my life, really. And so purpose has always been evolving for me, but it has always involved helping humanity, helping humanity. Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a lot of people out there who feels as though, she lucky, man. She's just lucky because, I tried the coaching thing. I tried starting my business. I tried, but you've been showing up. You've been showing up time. Was it luck? Has it been luck? Do you want to subscribe luck to anything you have done so far?
By all means, no. There's no luck that comes with this. I'm going to be very honest and transparent. The thing about it that I found about everything that I've done, all the things that I've achieved, and, the things that I'm working on, just about the fact that I choose to be consistent and I just don't give up. And it's not been easy for me. It's just been, really interesting journey. In the beginning, I just thought, okay, everything falls into place. But I've had some really, really difficult challenges, circumstances, and experiences that have, at one point made me want to just give up and throw in the towel. I don't know if you've ever been to that point, Coach Ricardo, where you felt like, I'm pouring so much into people and I don't see the results. I can't measure the results as a result of what I am doing. But there is something that is greater that's on the inside of you that says, listen, just keep on pushing, keep on moving, stay consistent, and then you're going to watch the results happen for you. And so I just choose not to give up and to stay in the fight and to try to be as consistent as I can and obeying the call of my life.
Well, you've been doing a great job. I've been watching from a distance for many years. Tonight, I want us to dive into our subject matter as we will have the opportunity to bless a lot of people. If you want to talk, I want to talk about the role of confidence and the misunderstanding that comes from it. There are a lot of people who have a view about confidence. You're a confident woman. What is your view on confidence when it comes to you and your understanding of the term confidence?
Well, simply put, I've done a lot of research on confidence, and I teach this subject matter as a module in my leadership training that I do with women. I have a full module on it. And so, but to simply put my understanding, interpretation, and experience behind the word confidence is simply, for me, just having an unshakable faith in God and believing in yourself. That's what it really boils down for me. When everything goes haywire in my life, I have a foundation that I can fall back on. And then I have sufficient experience and understanding my worth and my strengths that I can believe in myself, that I can achieve certain things, I can overcome some obstacles, and I can really live an effective life.
That's the goal. The goal is to live life effectively. Now, let's talk about confidence. I want to break it down because I've met a lot of people who have misunderstood confidence for arrogance.
Yeah.
I tell people when you start to develop and acquire some wins, winning brings confidence. Do you agree? I mean, to get straight A's after a while, you're gonna walk into an exam a little bit different than someone who haven't gotten straight A's before. To have gotten the diploma, the degree, to having a series of wins, after a while, confidence does show up with wins. But there are people who have described that confidence as arrogance because of a misunderstanding. What's your view on the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Well, I totally agree with you. when we look at confidence, a part of your development in confidence comes from the fact that you begin to master a particular area, or something in your life. And so when you begin to have more practice and experience in a particular area, then you can show up differently. Let me put it like that. You show up differently. Now, on the other hand, when I think of the word arrogance, or somebody who operates in that spirit of arrogance, that person is saying, I know I got it going on. And it's more so they are projecting a level of intimidation on somebody else, which to me is not confidence. Anytime you feel or you see somebody that, is acting with a chip on their shoulder, acting arrogantly, to me, there is something internally, psychologically, that's going on with that person. And so what happens is, oftentimes you see that the arrogant person really lacks confidence. And so what they do is they project themselves, their attitudes, or whatever it is that they have achieved, as little or as big as it may be. Whereas the confident person, not only are they showing up differently, but I think that with the confidence, they have a level of humility with it, and so you're confident. So people always say, one time ago, and oftentimes I've had to, Coach Ricardo, explain, myself. People look at me and my persona is saying, they say, when I first looked at you, you seemed so intimidating because you walked into the room and, you got everybody's attention, which is just a part of executive presence, right? Having presence, which people don't really understand. And so what it is that we need to teach and educate people about what confidence really is, because they don't have the understanding and appreciation of this type of confidence, or confidence in terms of, even in the corporate world, they misinterpret for arrogance. And so we need to educate the people on it. So a lot of times people looked at me and they would say, oh, you appear to be so intimidating. But when you open up your mouth to speak, I realized that, oh my God, she's not as intimidating as she looks. So it is because I was able, and one of the things I'm sure we'll cover is that with confidence, the components of confidence has a lot to do with your language, your body language, okay, the way you appear and all that kind of stuff. So you show up, and people may interpret you as being arrogant or intimidating. But when you begin to communicate or open up your mouth and speak with a level of humility where people can understand and appreciate you, then the perspective changes.
That is so good. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're talking about developing confidence on your journey to living life effectively. It's a critical ingredient for success, because the guy who has no confidence oftentimes will find himself losing out, not because he is not skilled or has the ability to deliver. Oftentimes, the weaker person in presence have a tendency of just being passed over. I believe that you have to be capable and accepting of the fact that, listen, there is something that belongs to you in the earth, and you got to know how to claim what's yours. Dr. Hall is joining us out of the Bahamas, and let me tell you something. She comes fully loaded, well experienced, and is going to help us tonight. So do me a favor, if you're watching us on Facebook, go and share this right now and tag somebody that you know may be struggling with some form of confidence versus arrogance. And then if you're watching us on Twitter, we want you to go ahead and retweet this and allow others to watch it. And then for those of you on YouTube, subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Dr. Hall, I want to dive into the role of confidence in pursuit of purpose. Because there are some people who want to pursue their purpose, but they are not engaging life at a confident level to accept what belongs to them. And so give us an understanding on the role of confidence in pursuit of purpose.
Well, I tell you this, when you discover your purpose, you will automatically become confident.
Oh, come on.
It's like, it's an automatic, because now you know the reason why you exist. Now you understand what your calling is, your assignment is in life, because before it was all confusing. It was all muddy. You didn't know, you're not sure about everything. You just feel uncertain because you're trying to figure it all out. But when you discover your purpose, the reason why you exist, you automatically begin to operate in a spirit of confidence. And so you're going to find that when you begin to operate in purpose, that your decisions are going to be different. Your language, your conversation is going to be different. Your relationships are going to be different. And it's the whole ambiance or the whole ambit of who you are and why you're existing that's going to help you build your confidence. So a lot of times, Coach Ricardo, the reason why a lot of people lack confidence is because they don't know who they are.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They don't know what they're called to.
Yeah.
They don't know the anointing, if I want to use spiritual. They don't understand the anointing that is on their life. And when you start to tap into your power, really, it's owning the power, your anointing, your giftings, your talents, your skills, and you understand that what God has graced and gifted you with is connected to something or someone or some people somewhere else, you start to think differently. You start to respond differently. And then, of course, your confidence begins to grow. So that's one of the first keys we need to understand in terms of really developing a level of confidence.
Yeah. Confidence grows. A lot of people don't know that. Melissa, a lot of people haven't accepted the fact that confidence does grow. You can grow your confidence on your journey. And you have to decide, I will grow my confidence. Now, let's talk about self-confidence versus God confidence. Your view there are those who are people of faith. They're concerned about the term self. And so, I'm self-confident. Well, you don't want to have no self in you. But at the end of the day, if we wanted to talk about it from a non-religious standpoint, we will normally hear the term self-confidence. But when we, as believers who declare, you know what, I'm walking in God confidence, what would you describe is the difference?
Well, the thing about it is, I believe, when I initially asked me what I thought was confidence for me, I said to you, it was a combination of having unshakable faith in God and believing in myself. And my self-confidence does not negate the fact that I believe in God. Right. I can still stand strong in Him. And I know where my help is coming from. But my self-confidence is oftentimes built on the fact that I have developed myself sufficiently enough. I have studied hard enough, because there are lots of people out there, if we be real, Coach Ricardo, that are not believers, and that they are confident. They are successful, may not be successful in what we consider to be success, but they are making strides and they're making moves. They have to have a level of confidence. And so with self-confidence, understanding who you are, believing in yourself and your capabilities, there's nothing wrong with that. You develop a level of self-confidence based on your experience, your practice, and you knowing yourself. Now, with God confidence, it just links back to the fact that you know that at the end of the day, you have this spiritual connection, that there are some phases and some things in your life that you know that, listen, without the help of God, you would not be able to achieve and do the things that you are doing. And as a result of your belief in God, this helps to actually also grow your confidence or increase your level of confidence. And so a lot of people, when we talk about this, you see, one of the things is, and I often talk about this in the marketplace, right? We have to know how to communicate in the marketplace. And a lot of times we can be very over spiritual because somebody says that I have self-confidence. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with the individual is when they start to become arrogant. That's where the challenge really comes in. And so we have to know how to communicate, even as believers, and understand and appreciate that in the corporate world, not everybody is going to understand and appreciate that we have this faith in God, but that does not negate the fact that they are confident.
Man, that is so good. Dr. Hall, there are persons watching. I know years ago, I wish I had the opportunity to tap into a talk like this because
Right.
I would have definitely needed it. And I'm actually just now starting to tap into what I call maximum confidence. That
Wow.
level of accepting the fact that I'm okay with some stuff, and it is not pride, it's not arrogance, but it's a clear understanding as to who I am and where I belong and how I'm
Yeah.
supposed to show up.
Hmm.
For those that are watching, what would be 5 key things that you would suggest, recommend for someone on their journey to developing confidence effectively?
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of things that I would personally recommend. The first one, as we just mentioned a few ago, was first of all, discover and understand your purpose. That is key. And the way you can do that is obviously through prayer and through coaching. There are many times I've coached individuals just didn't know and understand the calling on their life. And with coaching, you can help, you can be helped in terms of unlocking or discovering your purpose. So once you know that, automatically you're going to become a confident person. Now, we talked about the fact that confidence grows.
Yeah.
And there are phases in your life where you may not be as confident as you thought. If something may have happened to you that may have shaken your confidence, and I've had that experience. But I'll leave that for another couple of minutes or so. So the first thing is to discover your purpose. The second thing is, I would say, learn how to take responsibility for your confidence. And taking responsibility for your confidence, that's going to come with affirming yourself. See, if nobody else affirms you, and you really don't need nobody else to validate you, you better start to affirm yourself. Affirm who you are. And this is with you knowing who you are. So knowing who you are also goes with taking an inventory of your strengths and your weaknesses. And when you understand those types of things about yourself, doing what we call, a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. That does not only apply to business, that applies to your personal life. Taking an inventory of you. When you take an inventory of you and you understand and appreciate who you are, then you begin to affirm yourself through the power of your words. Now, I love to talk about that because I have a book that is a best-selling book, Coach Ricardo, Declare Your Dreams, a guide to commanding the life you want. It's an Amazon best-selling book. And in that, I talk about how important it is for us to really, and just simply put, use our words to frame our world. And so you have to affirm, you have to declare, you have to decree, you have to do all those things. People think that that's not necessary. I want you to know this is absolutely necessary in your life, because there will come a point in time where, people will fade away. You'll be alone at one point, and you got to be able to speak to yourself. You have to speak your success, and you have to speak what you want to see happen in existence, but you got to affirm yourself. Well, the third point I would say is, make sure, because confidence has a lot to do with the way you talk, you act, and you behave. Okay. Make sure that your body language, your image, is representing what you want people to perceive about you. People often sum you up within the first 30 to 60 seconds. They are making determinations about you when they look at you within 30 to 60 seconds. And you want, a part of what you would want is you want people to perceive you as a really great brand.
Right.
So that means that you must look the part, dress the part. Ensure that your body language is speaking the part, that your posture is correct, that when you sit around the table, that you're sitting in a position. I often tell them, you don't sit to the back, you got to sit close up, because it shows that you're interested. It shows that you have a level of confidence. Yeah. And so there's a lot about image that goes into confidence. So I would say you got to show up. You got to show up tight and right. Okay. The fourth thing that I would say is, of course, develop your strengths. Oftentimes we are taught to develop and focus on our weaknesses. But if you're really going to become confident, you want to focus on your strengths.
Yeah.
You want to keep sharpening your strengths. In John Maxwell, we call that focusing on your strength zones. He teaches that to us. And I absolutely agree with that. So if I'm great in speaking, I'm going to polish that. I'm going to get training in that area. I'm going to practice that. And this, I would say, has a lot to do with self-mastery.
Yeah.
So if you know that you have a particular strength, understanding that there is a distinction between confident and competence,
yeah.
because you can be competent but not confident.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever your strength is, whatever it is that you know that you are really great at, focus on that and master. Become a master of something. Be known for an expertise in a particular area where persons can identify you as the go-to person. When you begin to see this manifest in your life, again, this has a psychological impact on you. Internally, it changes you, and you begin to see yourself. You just feel different. You know, in business, confidence is one of the most important contributors to business success. I've learned through my experience, if you don't have confidence, really and truly, I don't see how you could experience true business success. Okay. Yeah. So the fourth thing is, look, maximize your strengths. Let me just sum it up like that. Maximize your strengths. And number 5, I would say, and of course it would be, you know, hey, crazy of me if I don't add God in this somehow, right?
Yeah.
But really begin to have a level of faith in God. Because oftentimes people look at faith as a noun, but faith is also, to me, an action word. So take action, begin to move. Don't allow whatever your situation or your circumstance may be to stagnate you, to silence you, or to shut you down. Be busy about your purpose.
Yep. Take
action and be decisive about the things that you want to do. And when you do that, I would say that you would become unstoppable. And I have to say, I gotta add, it's not, I want to put it in as a 5, but it really should be a 6. But vision, you gotta have a vision for your life. I gotta give a bonus point.
Yes, go for it.
I gotta give a bonus. You have to have a vision for your life. If you're gonna live effectively, you cannot effectively live in this world without having a vision for your life. Coach Ricardo, I could tell you there were times when I just thought it was over for me. Honestly, everything just looked like it was over for me. A few years ago, I went through that experience. And because I had a vision, God brought back to my remembrance. Listen, you got vision, you know. You should know and die.
Right.
The vision made me unstoppable, which therefore helped me to become confident again. Because there are times in your life where you will feel as if you have lost confidence. So those are the 5 plus the 6 bonus things I would say. Okay, define, develop your purpose, affirm yourself. You know, make sure that your image is you're presenting yourself in the way that you want to perceive. Maximize your strength zones. Take action with your purpose, because you could discover your purpose and not do anything about it.
Yep.
And then number 6, I'm going to put that bonus in there with your permission. Have a vision for your life that will make you unstoppable.
I love it. Listen, I was thinking when you mentioned the bonus one, and all of them were so good, I said, you know what? I like how she just plugged that bonus in there, because you know, I'm a strong believer.
Yeah.
When you tap into vision starts to determine everything else. It determines the book you read. It determines who will be your friend. It determines what time you get up in the morning. It determines how you spend your money. You know,
absolutely.
You know, it determines how and what you do with your day. Dr. Hall, there are people coming out of 2020 in the heart of 2021 who have gotten what I would call some uppercuts
Mm.
Life had given them what they did not see coming.
Right.
And it has caused them to lose their roar. They've lost their confidence. So they once had confidence,
Yeah.
but now they're not walking confidently like they've walked in times past. What would you say to someone like that who's struggling to live in a bold way, in a confident way, after having lived this way before? But because of life circumstances, and as you mentioned, life will throw you a curveball. Life will present something to you that will try to challenge your confidence and possibly cause some people to sit out the rest of their life on the sideline when they have something to offer. What is your view on this coming back in the game with confidence that you knew you had, but you somewhere along the line lost?
I'm going to give you one word for that. But first of all, I just need to stress again that I was that person, a few years ago. I don't know if I ever shared my story with you, but just very briefly, I was in a very powerful position, running a multi-million-dollar corporation. And listen, I had it going on. Everything was just going really well. But in our country, when the government changes, they use the word victimization. And so I was victimized, and my victimization was public. And man, like I was on the front page of the Punch and the Tribune. I mean, I was making six figures. They had all of my business back. Everything was there, right?
Yeah.
And whilst the whole process was very painful for me, because when you get terminated for no reason, and you know that you hard, and you know that you operate in the spirit of excellence, and everything was going so well, it really kind of like shock you. It takes a whole toll on you. Like I didn't realize that it took me a while to heal.
Wow.
From experience. But what I discovered as a result of that, of course, the public humiliation, I realized after a while, even though mentally that I thought that I was still a confident person, I realized that I started to shrink.
Wow.
I started to shrink. So the things that I would normally do, I stopped doing. The things that I believed in, I stopped believing in. So things that I would pursue and go after, I just wouldn't, because I would live in fear of what the outcome would be. Because imagine performing maximum performance and then you get this shock in the world, right?
Yep.
So this kind of gave me a big setback that I didn't even realize. Like I said, mentally, or because I was always thinking and I was always a confident person, I felt like I was still confident. But when I really sat back and thought about it, it's like, girl, you lost your confidence. This thing really shake you. And so I had to get to the point of, okay, now what do I do? Right? To not only in my mind think that I'm confident, but in my emotions, in my spirit, in my whole being. How can I now really bounce back, bring back this confidence that I once had? And, for me, Coach Ricardo, it's just resetting. Honestly, I just had to reset because something happened that changed in my life. Now I have to go and take a different perspective on life, and I have to make certain adjustments in my life. So I can't live in that zone anymore. I have to live in another zone. And now I have to address my mind, my body, everything about me from a different perspective. And when I did my reset, I personally had to reset just pretty much every area of my life. When I realized that, okay, you can reset. And the thing about resetting, Coach, is that you could reset as many times as you want to. There's no rule about how many times you can reset. When I reset and I realized things are different, I had a circumstance, things change, but that doesn't change my purpose. Hello, somebody. That doesn't change who I am. Hello, somebody. That did not change the things that I achieved. That didn't take away none of my certifications. That didn't take away none of my degrees. That didn't take away none of my experience. So I had to begin to shift, and I changed my mindset about a whole lot of things. And then as I began to move forward and make progress. So what you have to do is you have to take action again. I cannot stress enough about how important it is for you to take action. And as you begin to move, as you begin to take action, as you begin to make decisions, you're going to watch that your confidence begins to increase. Yep. You know, you start doing things. So for a while, for example, you know, you need something to cause you to activate. So for a while, whilst I was still, you know, putting posts out there and all that stuff like that, I just wasn't coming live on Facebook. And I used to do lots of Facebook lives in the past. But I was like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to talk. I don't feel like talking. I don't know what's going on, but I just ain't in that mood. Yeah. And in order for me to now bounce back and regain my confidence, what I had to do, I had to speak my truth and I had to take responsibility for my life. Yeah. And I had to start moving on. And that is where that I would say to you about last year, or maybe in 2019, I started to kind of, you know, come on and say certain things the ending part of December 2019. And as I began to take action and I reactivated my confidence, and it's been growing and it's been growing. And guess what? I start to let go of certain things, certain feelings, certain emotions, certain people. You know, it's important for you to surround yourself with people who are really cheering for you. Yeah. You know, because I had a lot of people in my circle. Yeah. I thought they were cheering for me and they weren't. And so you don't need a whole bunch of people. You just need a few cheerleaders. And then you're going to watch things begin to change. Yeah. So don't allow the situation to stagnate you. So reset. And I must say this. Let me add this. Resolve to evolve.
Come on. Yeah.
Resolve to evolve. Make the decision that you're going to evolve, and your confidence is going to start to fall back into place, and you'll regain it, and it'll grow. It'll grow. The more you grow, the more you move, yeah, the more your confidence is going to grow.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're joined with Dr. Melissa Hall, coming live out of Nassau, Bahamas. Just so you all know, the country is ready for you to come back and visit. For those of you that are around the world, there is no place like the Bahamas. And so please feel free to plan to be a part of a visit to the islands of the Bahamas. Any of the islands, it will be a splendid delight. Make sure you let them know Ricardo Miller said you want to visit, okay? But Dr. Hall, you have experienced some stuff. You shared some of it already to us. When you look back over maybe one of your greatest life lessons, what would one of those be considered that you have not shared already, that's been a lesson about confidence? And I like what you've shared, but I want to help somebody out. But the lesson the experience that you had and the lesson that came from it. Let's talk about that for a moment. One of those, this was an experience and this was the lesson. I know this is going to help somebody. Talk to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I shared, that experience, and I've had a couple of those types of experience, not necessarily that one, but the lesson that I keep learning, and the lesson I have learned, I should say, is that we must be very careful not to allow the things that happen to us and the people that we associate with to determine our confidence. Yeah. That's a big lesson that I learned. I remember when I started talking about wealth, and I studied it, and I realized that it's so amazing how money, right? Having money, having cash money can affect your emotions, right? But true wealth really begins in the head, in the mind, right? Before it's manifested in your hands. And if we allow external things to influence how we feel about ourselves, we will continue to go in cycles. So external factors, be careful how you allow external influences to determine the way you think, feel, and behave. That is the biggest lesson. In other words, man, the hell with these people. Forget the opinions of people. Like, know yourself. Do you?
Yeah.
Don't allow with people, because people look at you and they saying, oh, well, man, he too arrogant. He just because it's happening for he changed and all that. Listen, get rid of those types of voices, that type of negativity, all those negative external influences. Do not allow them to become operative in your life, because then you're going to start living your life for other things and for other people, when you really need to be living your life to please God and to make yourself happy by doing you. And so that was the biggest lesson for me. I'm like, man, hey, is this y'all joking? Y'all what y'all did? What? I can't believe all this time I worrying about what people think. I can't believe that, at the end of the day, I'm allowing these factors to control my life. I have to take control. I have to own my power. And that's the biggest lesson I learned. So not allowing the external factors or influences to determine, let me put it like this, let me simplify it, to determine my worth and value.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear her just now? She brought it home, man. She brought it home. Listen, don't play with yourself on your journey to living life to the fullest.
No.
Dr. Hall, let's talk about how wins increases our confidence, that it's an automatic, but some people just don't understand how win, because the truth is, oh, she changed. Well, she's been winning. He's changed. He has been winning. Talk to us. Break down your view of how winning increases a person's swagger. It changes their energy. They're not thinking they're better, but you win a few championships and you get a few World Series rings, and you know what I'm saying? You check off what you've been dreaming to acquire and start to acquire those things. Obviously, you ain't gonna buy what you bought before because you now have the resources. Obviously, you ain't gonna sit where you sat before because now you have reserve. Obviously, you ain't gonna drive what you drive before because you understand the role that what you have acquired now has given you the ability to experience that others may not. But there are people who have a hard time accepting the changes that comes with winning, because winning does bring confidence. What is your view on
that? Absolutely. The first thing I want to say is no matter the size of the win, it's going to help you bring up. If you have been struggling with something, right? You've been dreaming about something, and you had some goals set and you achieve them, or something great happens for you and you win. Well, my God, there's a feeling, there's an emotional feeling that goes along with that. There's even mental, there's a mindset shift that goes along with that, because now you realize that you could achieve and you could really have what you want, you could live. And see, what happens is a lot of times people don't understand where you came from. They don't understand. That's why I love this confidence, developing confidence during the journey. You see, because a lot of times people, they don't understand your story, right? They end up, we know the phrase, they see the glory, but they don't know the story. So people don't understand. That's why I told you that just a few minutes ago, look, these people and all this stuff like that, you're worrying about them. Don't worry about them. Keep moving. Keep moving. See, because half of them, or the majority of them, or most of them, if not all of them, don't know fully and appreciate your story. And even when you tell your story, you probably don't tell them every detail of the story.
Come on.
So now when you start winning, things start happening for you. Things start changing, things change. You're definitely going to change. The only person who does not change on us is God. Change is constant. Change is constant. Let me tell you, change is constant. The universe is consistent. Everything is consistently changing. The only thing remains the same is God. So if you're not changing, you're not growing.
Right. Come on. Right.
So when you start winning, you start changing because you're growing.
Yes.
In other words, your win is bringing to you a level of increase. So you start increasing in different ways. So more things start happening for you. You start moving up the ladder and you start enjoying it because you remember from whence you came, but you're just looking at me right now and you have no clue about where I came from. And so the wins are going to cause you to increase in your confidence. And that's why it's important for you to track your wins.
Come on.
No matter how big, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
If you set a small goal and you achieve that day, put a check mark next to that. That's going to boost your confidence. And so, like I said, if you're not changing, you're not growing. If you're not growing, then I don't know what you're doing. You're not progressing. And so that's a whole part of winning. Winning needs to be interpreted as I'm progressing. And when I'm progressing, you should be happy for me. And if you ain't happy for me, then you should really do the next good thing for you and me and get the hell out of my life.
Listen, man, listen. I'm enjoying this conversation because, see, I know what you're talking about. See, I went to E.P. Roberts and I was in special ed. See, I remember having to do reading classes. I can remember leaving school with an attendance certificate. And I could remember now going into leadership seminars and conferences and workshops that I was the presenter. And I remember one or two people saying, man, let me tell you something. I misjudged you because I thought you was the most arrogant dude on the planet. And you walk so strong. How did you who you think you are? And some people are backed up because we've developed a relationship and they've exposed where they were in relations to how they felt about me. But I put in major work over the years and to become who I am today. Now, Dr. Hall, I know that there are people who are struggling because I struggled for years about enjoying the rewards of the winnings that have occurred on your journey to accomplish what you've accomplished. Now, there are people who will watch this talk, if not now, afterwards, who they're qualified for the upgrade, but they don't want to take on the upgrade because of people's opinion. They have done the work, get what their heart's desire. Talk to them because there's a clear misunderstanding in relations to owning your wins and letting it shine or be seen by men so the Father could be glorified in heaven. So what's your view?
When I thought about the word leadership, okay, as you were speaking. And this has a lot to do with your influence, right? John Maxwell says, without influence, there's no leadership without influence. And so what happens now is that you're qualified for the upgrade. I love that. I really love that. But then you are allowing what people think about you and what they're going to say about you to determine how far you go. Now, the thing about it is, when you're talking about leading somebody or influencing or, winning and all that stuff, you are your greatest example. You're your greatest example. And if you cannot lead by example to show others how to win and not be worried about what other people say, then you're not a leader. And I think all of us have leadership abilities. Yeah. And so what happens then, Coach Ricardo, is that we see that there are, culturally, I think it's a whole mindset thing. One time ago, I used to say, and I say this in our country, very well-versed doctor and I were talking, and he said, it's almost a crime to be successful these days. Because people make you feel like you're committing a crime because you succeeded.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And there was a point in my life, honestly, Ricardo, when God blessed me or something good happened for me, I stopped sharing it because of the jealousy, because of the envy, because of the hatred and all of that. But then I realized at the end of the day, how am I going to represent the King of Kings if I can't demonstrate to you the kind of results that I get from being a part of his kingdom? Yeah. Why is it worth you listening to me? Taking advice from me. You don't even have to be a coach. You don't have to be a speaker, a pastor, all these things. Just an ordinary person. Why should anybody listen to you if you can't demonstrate to them what you are capable of?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So you now have to think of this from a different perspective, that you're qualified for the upgrade, but also your personal brand is also speaking.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you can demonstrate to people that you are authentically who you say you are is by showing them the results that you have achieved. Yeah. And that means that showing people that you know how to win. Yeah. And your wins, you know, there's only a few of those people out there that are really hating. You have no clue and no idea as to how many people. Coach Ricardo, so many times when I go out, you know, a lot of times people say, well, I watch you, I follow you. I don't even know these people. Yeah. You are such an inspiration to me. Yeah. Imagine if I never shared my wins.
Yeah. Right.
I would never know how many people that are being inspired by me.
Wow.
And so we have to be very careful to ensure that we, as people, that we don't allow these people, these jealousy and envy, to deter us from really demonstrating the God that we serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're joined with Dr. Melissa Hall, coming live out of the Bahamas. We're talking about developing confidence on your journey. The reality of it is there is so much more on the other side of your commitment and dedication to putting in the work, to seeing what needs to come to pass in your life, in your lifetime, come to pass. And so tonight we just want to encourage you, go after all that God has called you to go after, and don't play shy about letting your light shine to the maximum. Dr. Hall, coexisting with other great individuals. There are some people who they don't know how to confidently coexist, that it's okay for us to dominate in our own right, and that's okay because you're a boss, I'm a boss. There is enough for us, for all of us, right? There's enough. There is no shortage in the earth. According to your faith, be it done unto you. And so the whole idea of coexisting from a confidence standpoint, what's your view on
that? Mindset. You know, it's all about a mindset. And you talk about it, it's really having that abundance mindset, you know, where you begin to think and live in a world that, listen, I cannot reach all these people. Right. So I'm going to do me, and I'm going to do it great, so that the people that God has assigned and called me to, that they're going to be impacted by me. And I can appreciate you for what you're doing, because the people that you call to aren't necessarily people that I'm called to. And I need you to be great for those people so that God could get the glory out of whatever it is that God has called and assigned you to do. And so coexisting with greatness has a lot to do, again, with confidence.
Yeah.
See, it all really boils back down. And Coach, you would be surprised the amount of persons who are actually in leadership positions but lack confidence.
Yes, right.
I'm talking about big leadership positions, and they ain't got no confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
When you study and you understand confidence, you realize you could look at somebody, especially when you see that they have a problem, they're intimidated by greatness. Yeah. You know that person has a confidence, they have a self-esteem issue. There's a level of insecurity. Yeah. It's almost like, remember with Saul and David.
Yes.
David killed thousands, Saul killed thousands, David killed 10,000. What happened to him? Then he's tried to kill David. Yep. Why? Because he couldn't appreciate David's greatness. Yeah. That didn't take away from the fact that Saul was still king at the time. It's just that at this particular moment, you got somebody else who could do probably a better job in this particular area. Appreciate David for who he is. Don't try to kill him.
Yeah, come on.
You know, and so we have to, as a people, right, shift our mindsets and understand that we live in a world of abundance, that you can't reach everybody. And guess what? I'm trying to reach the people you try. I just want to make sure that the people that God has in my niche, that they can get the message that I have and what they need. And you begin to think like that. You begin to celebrate with others, man. You begin to rejoice when you see others making impact, making strides, making moves. And listen, I'm happy for you, man.
Right.
How much people in the universe? What, billions? How much is it? How much people in the
over 8 billion people? Yeah.
Over 8 billion. 8 billion people in the world. But Monkey Joe,
right.
You think I can get stuff on just Bahamas? Nobody. Come on, 8 billion people.
Hey,
yeah.
I had to say to myself, and I got this revelation, it freed me. At the beginning of this year, I was thinking and praying and really looking at what God was doing in my life. Right. And I had to tell a friend of mine, as we were having breakfast and reviewing both of our platforms and what God was doing for us, I said in the next decade, next 10 years, I would like to reach 1 million people with my effective living message to be a part of the community. I'm talking about effective living community being 1 million people, right? And I said, but coming from the Bahamas, a country of 400,000 people, in my view, that's hugely successful. I was like, listen, man, 1 million people following Ricardo with the concept of embracing the whole idea of effective living, right? I said, man, what a move. I'm from Acklands, man. You know what I'm saying? There's 500 people in Acklands, right? And so, look what God could do. So I said to him, what I had to realize, however, I said, you're going to like this. I said, I had to realize, even if God would have given me that million, there are 8.5 billion people on the planet. There could be a clear 10 million who still don't like Ricardo.
Yeah.
Okay? Who ain't feeling Ricardo? Who don't like it? And I have to be okay with that, because if I reach what God wants me to reach, I got to be okay with that. So with that said, Dr. Hall, I had someone call me, and they called my office because they watched one of my lives. This was a couple of years ago. And they were watching me do a live conversation, a talk. I was doing the talk by myself. And they said, blew me away. It was timely. It was God. I needed the message. And he said, I wanted to encourage you with that. But he says, my wife said to me, I should let you coach me because you are speaking my language. And he says, but I told her, and I have to tell you, watch what he says. Watch it. He said, I have to tell you, brother, I watch you, and I think you're just a little bit too much, though. He said, you're a little much. And so he backed off. And occasionally I see his likes and he's commenting, oh, that was a great point. But he still, his view was Ricardo was too much. Now, for a moment there, Dr. Hall, it hit me like, what did you mean I'm a little bit too much? And then I had to realize, you know, some people, when you go to Popeyes, the seasoning is different than KFC.
Yeah. Of course.
And the reality of it is, like, there are many different chicken joints for chicken restaurants for a reason, because there is something called preferences. I had to accept that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Now, the old me wanted to respond and say, "What you mean? It's too much, right?"
Yeah.
What's your view? What's your view? Because I want you to talk about it too. When you hear people say things like that, what comes to mind when people, you know, the truth is not everybody's going to like you. That's the fact. Yeah. But accepting oneself enough to know that someone is going to have a feeling, you know, I think she is too much, or I think she is too much. What comes to mind when you think of that statement?
Well, I just automatically think, well, baby girl, honey, I ain't the one for you. I want my people. I want my tribe. And you just ain't a part of my tribe.
Yeah.
You're not a part of my tribe. You're not. If I'm too much for you, then I'm not called to you. Hey.
Say that again. Say that
again. If I'm too much for you, then I'm not called to you. Simple. That's it. Simple. I want the people who are going to appreciate me. I want to be around. I want to be celebrated. I don't want to be in an environment where people are tolerating me. I remove myself out of those types of environments. If you cannot celebrate me, if you cannot appreciate me, and let me tell you something, Coach, I've been doing that slowly and surely over the last year. I've been finding myself associating with people who celebrate me, who appreciate me, who appreciate the anointing on, and boy, it's a good feeling. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It's a good feeling, because I'm like, this how it feel? This how it feels to be around people who appreciate you? Yeah. And my God, I feel confident. My God, my confidence gone up. because I start associating with people who ain't got no issues with Melissa and her big personality, who could appreciate my hard work, my ethics, my excellence, who ain't got no work, who are inspired when they come in my presence. These are the people that I want to be. So guess what? If I'm a little too much for you, that means that I'm not called to you. Simple.
Come on. Somebody needs to write that in the comment section. If I'm a little bit too much for you, then it simply means I'm not called to you. Woo!
Yeah.
Dr. Hall, listen, we're almost done, man. I appreciate this talk. This is helping not only those who are viewing this, but it is once again strengthening me on my journey, because I'm grabbing hold of everything you're saying. And I'm going to work this thing, because the truth is all of us can look at ourselves and start to evaluate and assess what, people show up in the world in one way, but have internal struggles that a lot of times we have no clue.
Yeah.
We have no clue. And so I'm grateful for this message. I'm grateful for you sharing it so plainly. And I know lives are going to be changed for it. And so I have a couple more questions for you. But when you really look back over what advice would you give to Melissa Hall? Let's just say the 20-year-old Melissa Hall, 25-year-old Melissa. What advice, knowing what you know now in relation to confidence and how you're showing up in the world and what you're bringing to the table, what would you say to you?
If I was 20, I would say, don't be deceived. Everything that's glitter is not gold.
So learn how to know the difference, eh?
Yeah, no, seriously, the spirit of discernment, appreciating that level of discernment that God gives and places on you, or wanting to increase your level of discernment, is so key. Yeah. Because even in as I think in the corporate world, in the marketplace, things happen or decisions are made in the boardrooms and stuff like that, and you're thinking in the moment that, oh boy, I'm lost. Yeah. But then the older you get, you realize you ain't lost. You just got it going on. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's something wrong with somebody else. It ain't you. Yeah. But the world has a tendency, and that we live in, to make you feel like something wrong with you for being great.
Wow.
And so everything, don't be deceived. Everything that's glittering, it's not gold. In other words, the Bible says you must test the spirit, right? Yeah. Say, try the spirit, test the spirit. And so for me, I feel like, there's so much that I learned about personalities. There's so much that I learned about, looking at people and thinking that, oh, this is a great leader, or looking at people thinking this person has a great personality, when I really discern, when I look at the truth behind these individuals, man, they disgusting. Right. Internally, they got issues.
Yes, right.
But because you lack experience and exposure, they could make you feel like something wrong with you. And so I am so happy that I've come into this place where, look, those types of people, those types of environments, whatever, that make you feel like you're a misfit. Yeah. You feel out of place. You feel like, oh my God, I'm just not fitting in. Yeah. It's because God made you to stand out. Yeah. And so a lot of people get stuck in that zone, in that phase in their life. Like, look, I'm trying to fit in, but you ain't made to fit in. You made to stand out. So, understand and then discern that kind of stuff,
You are not made to fit in. You were made to stand out. I just started to embrace that, Dr. Hall. As long as I've been doing listen, I have so many magazines and so many newspaper articles of my stuff. I remember I started keeping them. It just makes no sense keeping them no more, right? Because they were so much. I mean, I was moving a couple of years ago. I sold my home, and I started moving the boxes of stuff. And I said, listen, you, at that time, I'm 42 years old, and I said, listen, how many boxes you got? Because you still got possibly another 40 in front of you.
Wow.
Right? I said, get ready for what's coming. Don't be holding on to what has happened so far. Go ahead and prepare yourself for what's coming. Now, I have this question for you, because I found this to be true, and I think a lot of people haven't capture this, but the need to accept oneself. Now, there are a lot of people you've talked about getting educated, but still not having confidence. You could be you could be competent and not confident. I urge you with that. And there are some people who have it all. They have the ingredients for success, but their lack of confidence in self. Can you bring that home again, please? I know you've dropped different thoughts of that whole idea throughout our entire talk, but please, for those who are listening, self-acceptance is critical for maximum performance. So there are people who are struggling with that.
Yeah, again, it's about you knowing yourself, and I think it also goes to Coach Ricardo. There's a quote as it comes to mind right now. There was a quote that I was supposed to put out the other day, and it was about the fact because the Lord has had me dealing with the spirit of jealousy and envy over the last month or so, right? And it was a quote that I was supposed to put out. Just follow me with this very quickly. And it was about the fact that your jealousy of somebody else is robbing you of your identity, right?
Yeah.
And when I think about that in terms of self-acceptance and you when you refuse to accept who you are and the way God, you are really telling God that you're not happy with who He created you to be. Not only you're saying that to Him, but you're also robbing yourself, okay, of your identity. Because if you're not accepting yourself, you're accepting somebody else. I don't know who you're accepting. You're robbing yourself of an opportunity to maximize your identity and your distinction in the earth.
Yeah.
And when you understand that you are fearfully, we know the scriptures, the comments are fearfully and wonderfully made. There's no one like you. Their fingerprints, your hair, all this stuff, distinct. You are distinctly different. And it is in your distinctiveness that creates your personal brand that makes you stand out, right? Then you really have a problem. So you need to accept the fact that, hey, your distinctiveness is creating your personal brand that's causing you to stand out, that's going to make you authentic and will cause people to be attracted to you. So be happy with you. Be happy with you. Now, there's always room for improvement. There are things that you want to improve on. I want to lose weight. I always want to lose weight. But that ain't going to mean, that's going to take the fact that I'm beautiful. Yep. I got to go on. Yep. and I know I got some skills. I know I'm really great at something. That's not going to change that. I am going to improve in those areas. But I got to accept me. I got to love me and all the great things that God has gifted me with so that I could really become great. You will never become great unless you accept who you are. You can't.
I hope y'all write that down. You will never be great if you don't accept who you are. Wow. Yeah. Dr. Hall, this is the last question for the night. Listen, I know you said, listen, boy, you must be from the Baptist church. You got these questions. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. But there are some people, I've talked about it in my book, someone is assigned to help you. And there are some people who are struggling. And our talk is giving nice practical principles one must accept and can apply and get to a place where they belong. But then there are some others who they're going to need someone to walk with them. The role of embracing help. There's a statement that says when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Some people are trying to do it alone, but they can't because over the years, they just not been able to do it. The role of getting help to get to where you're trying to go.
Oh, yeah. Listen to me. Unfortunately, in our country, in the Bahamas, I don't think this is a challenge in the US. There's not a great appreciation for coaching and mentorship. And, Dr. Miles Monroe, he was a leadership mentor for me. And so I learned some things from him. And if I didn't learn everything from him, there's something I took some attributes from him. There's some things that I would have, some of his attributes that I made, I incorporated into my life. Yeah. And you can only go so far. It's almost like, by yourself. You need help. I've paid thousands of dollars. I hate to say it, right? And sometimes back in the day, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, when I look back, did I really need it? But then I did, because I needed to come in a full appreciation of who I was, what I could do. I needed to be able to measure myself, measure my success. And the only way that I was able to do that is when I started to get coaching and mentorship. This journey of developing self-confidence cannot be done in isolation. It has to be done through collaboration. Which what I'm saying is that you need somebody in your corner that's going to be there to coach you, mentor you, help train you, equip you for what is ahead. Sometimes we can't even see the greatness that's on the inside of us. We know that there's this greatness there, but with the help of somebody else, through the help of coaching, through the help of mentorship, we can maximize our greatness. So I can never understand if you're ever feeling stuck or stagnated, right? Because you don't know everything. You don't have the answers to everything. And sometimes you just need somebody else to speak into you and to let you know. I remember one time very quickly, Coach, there was this lady, she's a pastor's wife, and she had some insecurity issues. And one coaching session, I went and I took this lady and I said, do you realize that you do this? Do you realize that you have this? Do you realize that you have this? I mean, I took this lady through her qualifications. I took her through her experience. I took her through, some of the accomplishments. And she sat back and she was like, me? That's me. I was like, yeah. Sometimes you need, if not sometimes, most of the times, all the time, you need somebody to help you uncover, unlock, and unleash your potential. That's the bottom line. You cannot do this in isolation. So if you are struggling, if you feel stuck, if you feel stagnated, by all means, don't allow money. I remember Dr. Miles Monroe said I brought him in one time in 2009 to speak, and I tell him, I said, I was so scared to call you because I don't know if I could pay for you.
Yeah.
And he said, don't ever allow money to stop you from moving forward. I was like, what? He said, yeah, I don't. And if I tell you, that man hardly charged me nothing. I think I probably paid him $200 or something like it. He said, you just pay to put fuel in my in my jet or something like that, right? And I was like, wow, imagine if I didn't reach out to him, right? I would have missed the opportunity to experience his greatness and his giftedness because I was afraid of connecting with him. The same principle applies to somebody that's feeling stuck, stagnated. You want something. There's somebody that has what you need. It's all about you making that decision to make the connection, because divine connections can change everything. All you need is one person, one connection that can shift your life forever. And that one connection for you, for that person that may be struggling with confidence, with self-esteem issues, with insecurities, all this stuff, you just don't know purpose, that one connection, that one coaching session with Coach Ricardo, the one connection with me, whoever God sends you to, that can change everything for you. So don't try to do this in isolation. We didn't. I'm sure you got coaching, right, Coach Ricardo?
Yep, still do. Yeah, still do. They say the doctor needs a doctor. All right, a good lawyer is not afraid to get a lawyer. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, get help. Someone is assigned to help you. Dr. Hall, how can persons follow your platform, tap into the services that you have to offer? Can you bring us up to date on that?
Absolutely. Of course, they can contact me, 242-601-2546. But the easiest way to really reach out to me, I think I'm a Facebook girl. Yeah. That's the easiest thing. Facebook me, message me. I think you would get a quicker response like that. But if you wanted to, you can also email me at globalempowermentservices@gmail.com. But just Facebook me. That's all I would say. Just Facebook. That's the easiest thing. Look for Dr. Melissa, Dr. And Melissa is spelled with one S, Melisa. Not two S's. I am distinctly different. I'm not like the other Melissas.
Come on.
Dr. Melissa, one L and one S, Dr. Melissa Hall. You just reach out to me through social media and you'll be fine.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, we exist to help you tap into an understanding that there is more on the other side of discipline and a commitment to being your best self. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And you got to tell yourself, listen, every time you wake up, you tell yourself a new day is an opportunity to begin again. Every time you lay your head down at night, you got to tell yourself, you know what? I need to reflect on what I did today, and I need to be grateful for having been given a day. And a grateful heart, let me tell you something, somebody who can appreciate what they were given, when more is given to them, they, the chances are even greater to accomplish even more. Dr. Hall, thank you so much for blessing us. I knew you were the right woman for the message that we needed to hear tonight. Yeah. And so if you enjoyed tonight's talk, if you're on Facebook, do me a favor and share and tag somebody. And also go ahead and write thank you for those of you on YouTube. Please go ahead and give us a thumbs up and share the link. Allow someone to tap into what this talk could do for them, because I heard you. One person can change your life. A principle shared by a person can also change your life. So allow this message to go viral. Allow some people's lives to be blessed who may have not caught the live, but can catch the rerun. Dr. Hall, thank you so much for taking our invitation and bringing good content to our viewing audience. You always deliver. I'm excited about your future and what you're continuing to do. And after a while, I'm looking forward to getting back home to the Bahamas, because I'm missing the sun, sand, sea, and boiled fish and all that good stuff.
And when you come, you have to visit the T Junction Grill, which is my husband and I. We have on the weekends. We do a main grill. Trust me, and we the whole man. You got it. When you get back to us, the T Junction Grill. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to the T Junction Grill. I am. Okay, that's for sure. Right. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you.